Is hockey back? I don't know. They might cancel it up north, up in Canada way. Meantime, in these United States, I am stunned that people are busting to the degree that they are. Hi and hello, sports fans. This is not. What's that? Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant. I said what I said, Roy. Congratulations on the live show yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Festive stuff, obviously, if you were rooting for the red, white, and blue. Amin, what's happening, man? Oh, you are properly attired, wearing perhaps the greatest American sports hero ever, Apollo Creed, the Count of Monte Fisto.
That's right, the King of Sting, the Prince of Punch. To put into perspective what you're talking about, I went to a watch party at 6 a.m. in Old Town Scottsdale yesterday. And it was packed. And all these people, including friends of mine who I did not know liked hockey.
Closeted hockey fans?
Closeted hockey fans. Or maybe they were just like to experiment a little bit. You know what? You go through that phase. You say, hey, you know what? Let me try this hockey thing.
The deja vu, as far as that goes, is striking. You know, if you watch the Netflix documentary about the U.S. hockey team winning it way back when, and the connection to the here and now, obviously massive differences, NHL players versus a bunch of schoolboys and otherwise, you know, evil Soviets instead of
evil Canadians.
Yep. Well, okay, yeah. The evil Canadians is exactly what you're talking about. But this about hockey, and as a lifelong hockey fan, I am kind of struck by the fact that people do seem to be once again revisiting the sport that is otherwise largely ignored.
So as not a lifelong hockey fan, I think I have a reason for this. Because as I'm watching yesterday, the broadcast, they point out that USA has won the gold in Olympic hockey. Obviously, Lake Placid, the famous one. And then one in like
Squaw Valley, I believe.
1960.
1960. Yep. And that's it. And it blew my mind. I said, what do you mean this is only the third time winning this? This is a massive deal because we're so conditioned that American professional sports, that we must be awesome at it on the international level, right? NBA, we're the best league. Guess what? We win gold in basketball almost every time. And when we don't, something went horribly wrong, right? And so I felt that way. It's like, oh yeah, the NHL's here. I know it's a very international sport, but come on, man. Most of Americans, come on, man. Who else has access to this kind of facilities and stuff? Of course they've won the most gold medals. To find out that yesterday was the third time, I'm like, well, of course. This is like Canada beating us in basketball. Like, yeah, they've got players, but it's like, come on. This isn't their thing.
I guess so. Yeah, that makes some sense, but we're not good at soccer either, right?
No.
So we should be, by that standard, we should be much better in World Cup and otherwise, right?
We don't have a good professional league, though. That's the point. The idea, the grace that I gave USA Hockey was that because the most elite professional league in all the land is here, clearly we've got to be the best at it. Baseball might be the closest corollary, right? Like where baseball is like, clearly the MLB is far and away the best baseball league in the world. And then the World Baseball Classic, you're like, oh, crap, man.
Seen a Dominican team?
Oh, my gosh.
But Team USA always expects to win. Like, they might not win it every year, but they've gotten to the final most years in the World Baseball Classic. I think they've won it once or twice, but they lost last time around to Japan. They've had great games with the DR. They're the two favorites this year, USA and DR.
Well, the thing that strikes me, too, is you just mentioned the 6 a.m. watch party that you went to, is why was everybody on the East Coast in particular complaining so much about the early start time? I know it's Sunday morning and maybe some people like to sleep in, but who are these people? How late do you sleep on a Sunday? It was 8 a.m. was too much for you?
8 a.m. would have been a dream.
I want a pregame, though. That's the problem. I don't want to just start right at 8. I need to start a couple hours before.
Chris?
Which I did.
I'm going to tell you, the good people of Scottsdale, Arizona started well before the 6 a.m.
Did they even close the previous night?
They had to. It's a 2 a.m. last call, so they had to close. But there were people who had just been going. They just went and just kept it moving from last night all the way into Sunday morning.
I have some friends that went from a strip club establishment to elbow room.
I like
they were at like a strip establishment from 4 to 7:30 a.m. and then left
The
to
way
elbow
that
room.
you set it up seems like you were going to protect
I
them,
was gonna.
and you just like straight up strip club.
A titty bar establishment.
Did you mean to say like gentleman's establishment?
I don't know what I was doing. I got caught up in the air.
All right.
This is the way you can live. Don't you see on the East Coast? This is how we live on the West Coast all the time. Is this now going to be, I don't know if everybody's now going to jump in and on hockey stateside, but is everybody now on the East Coast going to pine to see their sporting events on the weekend start a little earlier? Because once you get used to it, and it doesn't take long, Saturdays and Sundays in football season, that it is the reason to live in the West Coast. You wake up and the football's kicking off at 9 a.m. It's way better than waiting.
Dave, these people over here, I'm not going to say specifics, but these people who work here live in Miami. Sometimes they've got to fly to the West Coast for something. To hear them complain about, oh my God, what are you talking about? Football starts at 10. I'm like, that's the greatest thing ever. You understand? I go through a whole Sunday and be done with Sunday night football, and it's like a reasonable hour.
But now I'm waking up in a panic because it's 9 o'clock and I got an hour. I got to get on my bed set. I got to get my fantasy lineup set. Now, now on the East Coast, I got time, baby.
I would way prefer the West Coast in terms of time slots. To be able to be done with Sunday Night Football and still be able to, like, do something with the rest of my night would be incredible.
No. What I want to do is I want to crawl into my bed unshowered at about 11:45, 12 o'clock at night. My wife's like, you've been watching football all day. And I'm like, I know. I exactly know. Because I get to get out of things like, oh, we've got dinner with these people tonight. You're done with football at 7:30, right? And I'm like, yeah, 8 o'clock, we've got this dinner. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to watch Bengals-Lions.
Late dinner for Sunday night
football. Hold up. How old are we, guys? Come on. Like, what are we doing? That was one of the best international sports moments in American history.
Yeah.
It was the first Olympic gold medal on the men's side of my lifetime. We finally conquered the Canadians. It was a walk-off, game-winning goal from Jack Hughes, an incredible moment in which the Canadians, arguably, I know many of them are saying it, they outplayed the U.S. in this game, and yet it's one of the rare sports that the United States gets to be a scrappy underdog. They finally knocked Canada off the top of the mountain. That was incredible yesterday. What are we talking about with 8 a.m. call times and 6 a.m. call times?
You're right. I got distracted there. Please, guy in the NHL hat, which is ironic since the NHL proper doesn't really like their players going off to play in the Olympics, but the players themselves did, and it was a joyous event. I am surprised, Mike, by the reaction. I'm usually surprised by major news events, how big they get, and I am surprised over the last 24 hours by the national reaction. I had no idea it would be this significant. It seems to have obscured the entire 2 weeks of the Olympics otherwise.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not even sure how many people know how long the NHL players have been away from this competition, but the last moment that we saw of these players on Olympic ice, I believe, was that incredible overtime winner in Vancouver, and Canada wins the gold. And then last year, you had the brilliant stroke of the four nations that really set the table up for this moment. You had the Battle of Montreal that the United States won, but, you know, Canada wins ultimately in the end. I think with this core, you had a nice story, table set so wonderfully by the four nations, that you kind of knew the players when it came to this game. You knew what was on the line. It was embedded. Even like the people that follow the sport as tangentially as possible kind of knew the deal headed into yesterday. And I thought it was an incredible moment, the game winner, the game itself. And, of course, for those that have a deep interest in U.S. hockey and go back with this team some, the Johnny Gaudreau stuff. Yeah, even there were plenty of, like, moms that had no idea about the story that were crying by the time that Gaudreau's kids hit the ice and the jersey was there. It was just an incredible moment.
I had a different experience because, like, some of these names, obviously I knew about the bad blood from the four nations, from you guys prattling incessantly about it, but I like recognize most of the names, a lot of the names. Obviously, my man Brad Marchand and guys like that. Like
I love how you're like, I know all the names and you struggle to find one.
Not all the names. I recognize a lot of names. The best player to me was the goalie, and I'm like, who he played for?
Winnipeg.
I've never heard that name once on this show. Not once. This dude is incredible.
Because he never got past the second round. Yeah, Hellebuck has been in Vezina conversations, goalie of the year. But yeah, we're not getting in deep on Winnipeg Jets hockey here on this show. But he was phenomenal. The save that he made on Taves with the stick, it was just an unreal.
He was incredible. But like, to me, the corollary, I always try to like translate things in basketball. It's like, okay, we don't get deep on Minnesota Timberwolves basketball here. But, like, I say Anthony Edwards. I'm like, yeah, we all know who he is. And, like, for that name, I'm like, this guy's amazing. We've never talked about him once on the show.
Well,
like,
but Hellebuck and Austin Matthews both get to wash off the stink of not being able to win in a big spot. Not true for Connor McJesus, who continues. I know he wins the Four Nations last year, but this is now becoming a career-long plague of this guy no-showing in big spots. And somehow he still got, just like he got the Conn Smythe against the Florida Panthers in a
I thought that was the internet trolling me. He actually won MVP of the Olympics?
Yeah, the IIHF.
That
gave
was.
an MVP of
I
the
thought they
tournament.
were just doing the thing of like the way he won.
0 points and had a breakaway in the gold medal game. Big spot. He forgot to shoot the puck. Literally,
Too many
if you
dekes.
watch it,
He like 7 deked.
Yeah, if you watch the play, like, yeah, he was so busy trying to cast a spell on Hellebuck, he cast a spell on himself and forgot to shoot the puck and just ran it right into his pads. That was 0 points. MVP of the tournament? What were we doing? That was wild.
because they do the whole tournament. Not, like, we're conditioned here that the MVP is like the guy in the last game who killed it. And a lot of these international,
He was on the losing team
I
too.
know, but they do
Does
it
that
for
matter as well?
They do it for the whole tournament. That's how.
Well,
they do
not only do they do it for the whole tournament, the vote comes in during the first intermission.
Which is insane, Roy. Right?
I mean, you got a finite amount of time to get this vote in and do the tabulation.
So to be clear, let's just assume like Team USA was down 6 going into the third, and then one player scores 7 goals in the third. He doesn't win MVP.
Then they do a revote. They have that in writing. If that happens, they do a revote.
Wow.
You just made that up.
Well, how tough are the language issues that you have to submit your vote 2 periods in advance of the end of the game?
Well, they got to translate everyone's answer. Like, wait, what's that say?
I think it's bordering on funny right now because Connor McDavid, considered by many to be arguably on track to be the greatest player of all time. I understand. We'll talk about the Sidney Crosby stuff.
How could he be the greatest player of all time?
Right, but
Let me
everyone
give you some names.
Everyone points to him and says that's a guy right now, and for whatever
talented.
reason, when there are these huge moments, he looks across the ice and he sees a player that's a lesser player than him, certainly
So slow. Matthew
a
Tkachuk.
far less talented skater than him, and this Matthew Tkachuk thorn in his side is just there constantly.
At 11.
Florida's gonna, right now, probably in all likelihood, gonna miss the playoffs because they've been so hurt. But Matthew Tkachuk just continues this unreal run, back-to-back Stanley Cups. Oh, this is a down year. I'll win gold for the first time since 1980. They're gonna be partying across the street.
Are they at 11 right now?
They're gonna be at 11
Tonight.
later tonight. Yeah, it's already been announced.
Is this, I was thinking about that, of all the NHL brands out there, the greatest winner is probably the Florida Panthers, right? Because you guys are now, you're still basking in the glow of your cups and everything, and it just completely erases the fact that you're going to be watching the NHL playoffs this year from home, right?
Well, Bill Zito was the assistant general manager for Team USA as well. So
There was that, and Seth Jones was named to the initial roster, but I had to stay home because of injury. I think the true testament to the Florida Panthers here is that their gold medal celebration, I know there was a blizzard in the Northeast that probably altered plans, but after New York shut down, they're like, well, the Panthers celebrations at 11 look plenty fun. That seems like a great, proper hockey town. This is where we're going to celebrate our first hockey men's gold medal since 1980, 11 nightclub in Miami. That is how the Florida Panthers have changed hockey.
Buddy, where else would they go? Why would they go anywhere else, even if there wasn't a blizzard? Are you kidding me? Hey, guys, we can either go to Miami or go to New York and bundle up some more. We've been cold for the last month over there in Milan or Fortina or wherever the hell they play those games. You gonna make me come over here and freeze my ass a little bit more? No, I want some sunshine.
You just described what's happening to the NHL over the last half decade too. Edmonton, Calgary, or Florida.
Winnipeg.
This is what the farm boys up there continue to think. Mike and and everybody else in there. I'm fascinated, obviously, by the context that history gives us with these things. So I try not to lionize the past too much, but I also try not to over-celebrate the here and now. Mike Eruzione is a name, I think. In fact, I brought it up last Friday. Everybody who doesn't care about hockey, I think, can put the asterisk and say, at least I know who Mike Eruzione is.
Of course I do.
right?
But Jeremy doesn't know. So can you explain it to Jeremy?
crying out loud.
everybody knows Eruzione. Is the same true 40 years, 50 years from now with Jack Hughes? Is he now a legend for all of time with American sports fans?
Yeah, well, I don't know if everybody knows the name Michael Eruzione. Like, we're sports fans. We know the name Michael Eruzione. So I think within these circles, yes, I do think that Jack Hughes is going to have a name in a moment that is going to ring eternal, no doubt.
He's got that picture with the teeth. That's the one, right?
Did that happen banging into the board?
No,
It was a high stick by Sam Bennett.
Because did you see
Sam Bennett? That's the name I know.
The whole team, his celebration into the boards, I thought his face like just got smashed. I guess it makes more sense.
No, it's a double minor that Benny got.
Oh, that double minor.
Jack Hughes.
Oh.
Juice.
It felt like after we made the kill, we had 5-on-3 against us in the second period. From that point on, we got dominated. The fact that we got to overtime, it could have been 4-1. That second half of that game.
Well, the irony with the 3-on-3 and it going to overtime, and you could see this cloud, this black cloud gathering as it got closer and closer, and people for at least a week were complaining about the 3-on-3 solution.
Bet you Canada is right now.
Well, they picked it up before it even started. But the irony of that is, I will say, without getting too deep in the weeds on specifically the puck, is the three that they threw out there are better than anyone that the U.S. could possibly conjure to put out there. And those are the three guys that were on the ice for the game-losing goal from Canada's side. I mean, they had Makar, who is in the conversation, if you aren't aware of Cale Makar, is in the conversation or will be by the time he retires as one of the three best defensemen in the history of the sport.
Absolutely.
You have McJesus out there and you have McKinnon out there, and those are the three that were out there when Jack Hughes scored that goal.
McKinnon missing that wide open net. McAvoy behind Hellebuck saving that puck from going across the line. Awesome moments in this game.
Hockey purists, what is more offensive, the 3-on-3 in overtime or the golden goal rule in overtime?
What's the golden goal?
The golden goal will always exist, which is
it's always been a golden goal in
overtime.
overtime.
A walk-off goal, yeah. Whoever scores a goal in overtime.
What was the one when TJ Oshie scored on penalty shots?
Where
that was worse.
Where you keep sending the same guy out on penalty shots.
That was worse. That was a worse.
It was a great moment for Oshie.
It was neat looking, but it was an unsatisfying way. Same as the World Cup is to end on PKs. And I'm not a soccer fan, but I can see why that stinks.
Hockey purist question part 2. When did the rink shrink? Didn't it used to be
just
massive?
In the Olympics.
Yeah,
the Olympics used to be massive. Used to be massive. That's why Wilbon used to love the Olympics.
Honestly, it kind of neutralized a bit of an advantage that Canada has because they have much better skaters. Whereas if you shrink the rink, I mean, the Kachuk's brothers' inability to skate seems a lot less visible.
This is one of the signature moments of this millennium for sports fans, I think. I hate to be a curmudgeon.
No, you don't.
I feel like you love to be
it.
that.
You love being a
Love
curmudgeon.
part of your DNA.
That's right down your
Mike
lane.
Fuentes says you're a hater. You hate everything.
Tony, incorrect. I don't want to be that. This is what the world does to me. Don't you see? I want to be a ray of sunshine, you know? But I can't help it. The facts go against my ability to do that. I think that I have to just say, on a short list, and we'll get into it in a little bit, one of the worst calls of a classic sports moment that I've ever sort of experienced. I was like, wait, what? That's in, right? I mean, before, I can't feel like the puck is in the net before the play-by-play guy acknowledges the puck is in the net and the tournament is over and the USA has won. It was underwhelming, to say the least, that moment. Nevertheless, the Jack Hughes goal is going to stand. You don't know if Jack Hughes' name is going to resonate decades from now.
I think it will. Because that's going to be a highlight. That's always like they won on a walk-off against their arch rival when they weren't expected to do so, and Jack Hughes was at the center of it. And he's a pretty good player. He's a young player. He's got to stick around the pros for a long time. Every time that his name is brought up in the mainstream sports media, that moment will follow him shortly thereafter, I think.
You know what? We do have some bad calls.
Which one you want to hear first? I got Joe Buck, David Tyree. This is one we got here.
I feel bad because, all right, let's get into it. Albert provided the call. What Kenny.
Albert.
Kenny Albert provided the call on that.
Which Albert?
It was a
It's always
surprise.
an Albert.
Yes, it was a shock comeback from Marv.
Juju, put it on the poll. Is there always an Albert calling the game?
I hate to go at Joe Buck, who generally does dynamite work and has caught a lot of crap over the course of his career for reasons I'm not exactly clear about, but legitimately, he would explain why this call isn't great, but let's hear it anyway. The Tyree catch.
Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet, airs it out down the field. It is caught by Tyree. Inside the 25 and a timeout taken. Oh, my God.
He had no idea that he caught it against his helmet. He just saw kind of like a scrum and the ball's secure and the ref is calling catch. That's why he called it that way.
I see. I think I could swear I've asked him about this specifically.
Pick
And
up that
he
name.
said he didn't know that the ball was definitely caught and he would have felt like a jackass. This is my assumption. He would have felt like a jackass if it's like, the ball hit the ground, man, and you're screaming and shouting about that, and now you look like a fool. And so he was cautioning against doing that.
I remember
And so
that,
he was like, it's a catch. Yeah, they got that ball. Yeah, you got that one. Yeah.
I remember that play from the Super Bowl. I'm watching the Super Bowl as a Giants fan, and we were like, oh, great, it's a catch. And it wasn't until the replay we realized how he caught it, and that's when we lost our mind. And so I'm not going to call that a bad call because hindsight is 20/20, sir.
I'm not getting on. Listen, Joe Buck has provided some great calls as well. In fact, one of my favorite calls of all time. But first, let's do the bad ones here. Another guy who I think Al Michaels is my favorite. As I said on Friday, his mastery for those in 1980, if you go back and listen to those games, those highlights, how great he is second to none. Keith Jackson is also on that list, though, for great play-by-play guys. And for all his great deeds, one of his last shots was the Vince Young touchdown in the Rose Bowl against USC. Underwhelming.
4th and 5, the national championship on the line right here. He's going for the corner. He's got it. Vince Young scores.
You also have to keep in mind without
that
the
was bad.
visual, he's in the end zone for roughly 27 seconds before he's like, he's got it. Yeah, the indicator, Keith, is all his teammates mobbing him in the end zone. Yeah.
0 for 2. Again, he let it breathe. That's what they teach television broadcast. You're not doing radio. He's not doing that. He's doing TV. Let the picture tell the story, the crowd ambiance, and then he can say something cool like that. I disagree with you on both of those calls.
You don't know it either. Same thing as the Jack Hughes goal. It's unclear when you're watching it. Is it a goal? Is it definitely? Did Vince Young step out there? Was he definitely in the end zone?
You just said it was clear because you saw his teammates mobbing him in the end zone.
Okay. All right. Tony agrees with.
I'm with Amin here. You're completely off base as usual.
What else you got?
From my
Chris?
experience, a celebration in the end zone means you still have to wait a beat.
Yeah.
You have to wait after the
That's right.
fireworks.
In case some laundry
You have
comes
to
out.
wait
Yeah.
after the helmets go in the air.
Are you going to keep zagging
Rip the
now?
Tostitos bag.
He's going to now play the good ones. You're going to be like, I don't like that one.
Well, okay, play the good ones. Let's hear it.
Okay, which one's first here?
we have
now?
Al Michaels, the classic 1980 call.
the greatest of all
Hand
time.
is there. The puck is still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Okay, you know what? That brings up something that I wanted to ask you guys anyway. So you just saw what happened, Jack Hughes and all of that. And then we go all the way back to this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I know there's not a sporting event, even with my teams playing in it. Santonio Holmes catching that touchdown pass with however many, 34 seconds left. Or whatever. There's no sporting event, immaculate reception. The number one sporting event to go to would be that game against the Soviets, right?
No
there's
chance. What
there's
are you
no
talking
comparison,
about?
Shortly
right? Is there?
thereafter, Carson Beck with his legs. Right?
That call's all right. You know how it would be better? Imagine if Gus Johnson did it.
Oh my God. Now you're talking.
Ha ha!
Is there a sporting event that you'd rather have gone to at any point in man's recorded history than than the U.S. beating the Soviets?
For sure.
Name it.
How about Michael Jordan beating Georgetown as a freshman with that jumper?
Be good.
Well, I mean,
I'd like it.
You do all of these because you want to have a good conversation, right? You want to impress the ballroom. At the cocktail party, you want to have the best story. The game is Malice at the Palace.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like that Immaculate Reception, at least in Pittsburgh, is the equivalent of claiming you went to Woodstock. You know, like I was there for that one. You know, everybody loves to make that claim. I mean, I can't imagine any better than beating the Soviets. The comparison, the side-by-side comparison over 46 years is one was Canada. The other was the evil Soviet Union. What are we talking about, everybody?
Well, one was in Milan. The other one was in Lake Placid. I think I'd rather be in Milan.
Now we're the bad guys.
What about Wilt's 100-point game?
Okay.
I would have loved to have seen anybody that was there for that.
Greg Cody saw it on TV.
Yeah, he
I
did.
know. This is becoming urban legend.
The other, I'll tell you another one that I would be in my top 3 probably events to have been a part of as an objective sports fan is this one with Kirk Gibson, the hero of the LA Dodgers in 1988, punctuating things on one leg. The improbability of this, too, is you have to kind of go back and get into the moment of, well, he can't play. It's the equivalent of Sidney Crosby not being able to play for Canada yesterday or Willis Reed.
Like, he would have came out
he's
in
gonna go.
overtime.
He's going to go.
If Sidney Crosby came out in overtime?
Kirk Gibson can't bat. Sorry, he's our MVP. He's the league's MVP. Unfortunately, he's not available against the mighty Oakland Athletics and their greatest closer, Dennis Eckersley. We have no chance. But what else are we going to do? Put him out there on one leg.
But the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
You clapping in the press box?
It is Vin Scully.
In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
That's
Goosies.
But that's Vin Scully, too. You know what I mean?
The
A little biased.
greatest ever.
I don't believe what I
Clapping in
just saw is another great one. Do you have the Joe Buck call, the homage to his old man Jack? That's the double down. Kirby Puckett hits the home run in Game 6 for the Twins against the Braves in 91, obviously to force Game 7, and Jack Buck quips almost as Kirby's ball flies over the left field wall, and we will see you tomorrow night. And then Joe Buck, a generation later, honors his old man by making the exact same call.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but I do have you calling him Joe Back.
I hate to go at Joe
like
Joe
that.
Buck.
Joe back.
Listen, I didn't fly across these United States to be attacked. Not when I'm trying to celebrate.
what we do.
This is a moment for our nation to come together, and instead, Chris Cody, a senseless attack. I don't understand. I mean, what goes on?
That's welcome to the show. That's what we do around here, buddy.
100-point game. Not a bad idea.
I do have my favorite call of all time.
James catches, puts up the 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
That would be a pretty dope game to be
The
at.
greatest.
I won't lie.
Imagine that. Stugotz.
Stugotz
He left early
Yeah,
that
he
game.
left early. And then did he try to come back in? Was he one of the people outside?
Doors were locked.
Is that true?
That's
Very
a true
true.
story, yeah.
A lot of fans did. There were viral videos. of
Dave, the
people-
game was over. The season was over. The
They had
series
the
was
ropes
over. The
out.
blueprint was over.
They had
The
the
MF
ropes
and ropes were out, Dave. People were leaving because they couldn't bear to watch the
I
Heat lose
remember
again.
the story.
No,
I
you don't
remember
remember.
it.
You clearly don't remember.
they-
You know what?
I
Watch
didn't
the
feel
Pittsburgh
it.
Penguins or something.
I didn't feel it. I was not emotionally invested
tell.
in it, but I do remember that was the story coming off of that one.
And
It was
then
like a third of the Heat fans ditched the joint and missed the shot. Yeah.
It's one of the greatest quotes of all time because Ray Allen hits a shot and he says, "Get those effing ropes out of here." Because the ropes that's it. The trophy's coming out. Larry O'Brien's over there. San Antonio, congratulations. And so Ray Allen hits a shot and he says, "There will be no ropes tonight."
Tony, I already know your answer to this. Anybody else? Anybody rooting red, white, and blue? does this feel at all diminished by the fact that the captain, McDavid is great, but the captain of the team was Sidney Crosby, and he is the winner. Not McJesus, maybe more gifted, but the winner. Mm-hmm. When the chips are down and you got the as clutch a guy as there's been, 87, Sidney Crosby couldn't go. Roy, how say you? Is this diminished at all that he wasn't out there for you?
I mean, they certainly could have used him on that 5-on-3 because
yeah.
I mean, the greatest power play unit probably ever got diminished on that.
Who'd they have to throw out there?
Sam Reinhart.
Oh my God, really?
He was on the original.
He was on the
one.
initial one. Who was the Sydney replacement? I may history forever remember that Canada was without its 5th best player on that gold medal game.
I mean, shame on you. Is that really your thought
in terms
on
of
that?
like actively,
Current
like
status?
how good they are? I'd say Sidney Crosby is their 5th best player right now.
Do you think if Cooper were asked, who are the guys, like you get the pick, who do you definitely want out there? Do you think
now
he
you're
would say,
talking politics, which I often call politricks.
but I mean, do you think he would say, well, I
No,
push
I think
comes to shove, I'd rather have McDavid than Crosby for this gold medal game.
I'm sure he would say that, but
no. No, I don't think that. I think if you said, let's hook you up to a lie detector, who do you definitely want in this game? I think he might go Cale Makar 1 and Crosby 2.
I disagree. I don't think Crosby's at the level of McKinnon this year or McDavid
That's
this
not
year.
the point. The point is,
I would say
the point is
Celebrini's
it's
right
winning
now
time.
better. Celebrini right now is better than Sidney
I'm not
Crosby
debating
is.
that. I'm not debating who's more
Well, I think
productive
that's
night in
important.
and night out.
I think that's important.
I think I can hammer this point home. Do you remember when Dwayne Wade was full washed,
Yeah.
but Spo just kept going to him in the
Last guy,
fourth
that
quarter?
guy has to shoot.
And I was like, why are they giving it to the guy to drop a 3 for the guy who hasn't hit a 3 since December? And you kept saying, because he's a winner, because he's 3, and da. That's what he's saying. He's doing the same argument.
They were without Sidney Crosby. We were with J.T. Miller and Vinny Trocheck. It's a push.
Trocheck can win a
was
face-off for you, though.
self-imposed.
It's a push.
Also, in his final year, Dwayne Wade did hit a game-winning buzzer beater against the Golden State Warriors because he was fed the ball after he came
It was a
back.
bank shot, wasn't it?
ugliest
It was
shot
a
ever
bank
blocked.
shot from the
Oh,
top.
he was
dropped it.
He was
Yeah.
stuffed initially,
Top of the
got
key
it
bank
back.
shot.
Did he make the shot?
Oh, the Flannies at
Did he
Westchester
make the
went
shot?
nuts.
Does it make any difference to anybody out there now as we transition back into the NHL? It's a weird event. I know, I'm a curmudgeon about it. I would much rather them do something like a Canada Cup type of thing that happens before the season starts. I hate the 3-week disruption to the league. No, the other 3 major leagues in the U.S. would not do that. They would not lower
They
themselves.
absolutely would. If the Olympics were in the middle of the NBA season, they would take an Olympic break. The WNBA does it. The WNBA,
Baseball doesn't. The MLB doesn't break its season up.
That's because the World Baseball
Doesn't-
Classic is a contrived thing. It's not real.
Well, contrived or not, the NHL or hockey, the hockey world could do that. They've already done it with the Canada Cup and the Summit Series and whatever else. They don't interrupt. It's very weird now
Everyone
that we're
in the-
supposed to hit pause because it's in promotion of the sport, even though there's no evidence that it really brings in enduring new fans.
The prestige of the Olympics is above everything else. If the
to
Olympics,
the players.
to the nation, to the public, right? If there's
This number will be huge.
Oilers Jets is going on, and at the same time as Olympic, no one's watching that.
I would say this number
Those are
dwarfs
teams, right? Oilers,
the
Jets?
number of
Yes.
Is that NFL?
the number that
be
Oilers
both, right.
Panthers
Somehow
made on TV. This number's probably going to dwarf that.
In 1978, you could have watched a Jets and Oilers NFL game too, right?
At the same time.
Right. Yeah, they could play each other. That used to be a great trivia question. There used to be there were double downs on a there were the Panthers, and there still are in 2 sports. Anyway, Jets and Oilers are now.
We got time.
That's
Long
why
week.
they had to call them the football giants way back
Yes.
when,
The New York football.
because there was a baseball giants in town.
That's right. That's right. So no qualms at all. No, this doesn't feel diminished, tainted on any level that the other team's
Crosby
captain
wasn't
couldn't
there?
go.
Kwame Brown.
Honestly, didn't even think about him.
No, like okay, their unbelievable power play has one less unbelievable player on it, and they just replace him with another incredible player. I understand Sidney's had a great season and is still a very good player, but Their fifth best player.
I do have to. If this bums you out, Canadians, I'm sorry, but this is the way it goes in sports, and this is the thing that Broncos fans are doing right now. To anybody who will listen, and I've got to tell you, like Broncos, we would have beaten the Patriots. We would have won that game, obviously. If Bo Nix had gone, we beat the Patriots. If Nix goes, like. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody is ever going to care. You can sit at the bar with your buddies who are Broncos fans and in 37 years complain about the fact we would have beaten the Seahawks. We would have gone to the Super Bowl and we would have beaten that team, and you'll complain and don't tell it to anybody other than your friends, because Canadians, we're 3-on-3 and we didn't have Crosby. Nobody is ever going to care. No one's ever going to recall that other than your fellow Canadians.
And for that very reason, this is why the greatest sports pontificator of all time is the man who usually sits in that chair, Dan Le Batard. Because you're saying, hey, no one cares that Sid didn't play. No one cares that Bo Nix didn't play. Dan took it another level. He says, all my guys played. We still had the better team than the Seahawks. He's talking about the Rams and the Seahawks. After the Super Bowls, Dan's still sitting there like, I don't believe you.
Sports are an imperfect measurement.
That's what Nathan McKinnon's trying to do. Nathan McKinnon, well, we were the better team. Like, congratulations, fella.
Second place.
I'm still trying to remind people that Bam and Goran were out for that bubble finals for extended periods of time.
Hey, man.
No one listens.
Everyone for the Lakers was hurt when the Pistons won their first title.
Throwing your body at the people here in a tight pair of jeans, shirtless.
I was. The jeans have gotten tighter the fat I've gotten. They weren't always tight. My daughter said Baby Walrus needs to move out of skinny jeans. I started doing it just to cheer myself up, because you get on the road and do like a Thursday night and you'd be like, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. This is going to be a long weekend. I'm missing my family. It's not sold out. So I would rip my shirt off and kill a beer to make myself giggle, because I thought it was silly, and to remind myself this should be fun. And then one night I was in Columbus, Ohio. I ripped my shirt off and killed a beer, and then something happened in the room, and I forgot to put it back on. And one of the comics I respected was in the back, and he was like, bro, you just did a whole hour with your shirt off.
And how does this work with comfort with your body? Because not everyone can do that. You're the first to be doing that. Not everyone is comfortable enough with their size to be in front of thousands of people shirtless like that, because it is funny.
It's interesting, because I have this reverse body dysmorphia. So like, I heard a story, secret time. Obviously, I'll tell you, but secret time. I heard a story that Chris Pratt was a fat kid growing up, and that someone told me, like, he'll always be fat in his head. No matter how great of shape he is, he'll always think of himself as a fat kid. I was in shape as a kid, and so I do not see myself fat at all. As a matter of fact, I think in Razzle Dazzle, I look low-key jacked. I think I look better than I've ever looked. My shoulders, dude, look at my shoulders.
You are jacked. Oh, yeah. You got some cuts right there. You see it there?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I feel great about my body.
The new Netflix stand-up special, Razzle Dazzle.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bert, stop making those
Never show
faces.
your belly button.
Yes.
Do the thing where you're,
Let's increase your female viewers.
make your boobs move.
This is a body you can get.
Razzle Dazzle is the stand-up special. How old would you have to be? What is the age if I came up to you and said, Bert, you're not going to believe this, but the new movie, Machine, it's in theaters in May, and Razzle Dazzle, a Netflix special, is happening. At what point in your career, at what age would you have said, yeah, that's a possible dream?
Oh, 50? Where I am, I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Listen, I got to be dead honest with you. I shot Razzle Dazzle in November, and I'm used to the Netflix specials, but with the Machine movie, that was sitting on a shelf. They weren't doing anything with it, and they weren't going to release it. And it wasn't until I leaked it on Rogan that it got life. And so ever since it's got life, now it's got real life, and so I didn't think the movie was ever going to come out.
Dan, Bert's got me feeling confident. You know what? I'm going to join you, Bert, taking the shirt off.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I'm going to have to do it too.
I, too, was ripped when I was younger, Bert.
I have to do it.
Let's all be. Come on, bros.
Oh, man.
I don't really want to do
Round the
this,
horn.
but,
I did
Stu,
not.
you're looking good.
The man-o-lantern.
Thank you.
okay.
Oh, my
Dan, we're
God.
doing it too. Dano!
20 years. Take the
uncomfortable.
top off.
Oh, jeez.
All right, you are allowing us to be more comfortable with our physical
Okay.
appearances.
I have to take off my nipple stickers.
He's a pioneer, an icon.
Oh, look at Dan. Yeah.
Mr. Nipple.
Oh,
Perfectly.
Do this
Sorry,
to
I'm not sure.
everybody.
I don't know. It's like a
Cold in
routine.
here.
Yeah,
Because
it is
reverse body
cold in
dysmorphia.
here.
It's a reverse
It's a
body
really
dysmorphia
weird
thing.
time for Jessica to come back
yeah, I
into
was
the room.
Jessica.
Perfectly
Do not walk in here.
Hey, Jess.
You like it, Bert?
Get out.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Why
So
are you
you.
massaging?
Andrew Luck making an appearance there. Bert, I do want to know when you were partying, the top partier at the #1 party school in the country. What did that look like?
You're looking at
Marijuana in the afternoon,
Yeah.
around 4. Simpsons, fried chicken, and a lot of cocktails up until about 2 a.m. Then back to my place. Goat Campbell around 3 a.m. Joint set on the Seminole Head.
I love you.
And not a lot of sex, just dudes.
The best 6.5 years of your life, Bert.
How much public nudity was there?
An aggressive amount. This is back before. That was.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Well, I mean, we were having a good time talking about the puck and everything, but Amin said too much hockey talk. This is off-putting. Can we move on?
They won the gold medal.
Can we talk about something else? So Amin wants to move on. I'll take this opportunity. I love your sweatshirt, Amin. It's Apollo Creed, the Count of Monte Fisto, great American hero himself, right up there with Jack Hughes. I was once in downtown L.A. having a fancy dinner with my pal David Feeney. And
At the Denny's right there on Figueroa?
Bestia.
Oh, I've been to Bestia.
You know,
that is
good,
a fancy
good
dinner.
Italian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some real high-end Italian.
It is.
We were seated there, and then we knew how grand this place was when we looked up at the bar and we saw one Carl Weathers,
No
a.k.a. Apollo Creed, dressed exactly like you would want him to be dressed. Black suit, black shirt underneath, looking cool as balls.
I
You
thought you
know?
meant like red, white, and blue top hat.
Oh, not
trunks.
like that. Yeah, I would. I guess. Yeah, Now that you say that, yeah, that would have been an even cooler outfit. But either way, we were gentlemen, and so we sent him a drink at the bar. We
Yes.
said, can we get Creed? Can we send Mr. Creed a drink? And so the bartender accommodated our request. And a couple of minutes later, before we knew it, standing over our table was Creed himself. And he said, I just wanted to thank you gentlemen for the drink. And we swooned. And then we talked for 10 minutes or so about our favorite, moments.
How many
with
words
Creed.
did you let him get in?
And we did maybe 9% of the talking. Then he went back to the bar to
Did
his
you ask him about
drink.
Hurricane Smith?
It didn't come up. And then we went back. Force 10 from Navarone did come up though. He went back to the bar and finished that drink, and then an hour and a half later, we went to pay our bill, and we noticed Creed added another drink to our tab,
Absolutely.
which I thought was the greatest move I'd ever seen. Yeah, of course you do that. What are we gonna do? Hey, hey Carl, we got the one round, not two. What a nails move.
Was he still there when you guys were?
He was there.
Okay,
How
so
great is that move?
You should have gone up to him and said, "Carl, you son of a bitch," and then just dap him really hard right there. Or
what's the matter? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Am I Dylan? Who's Dylan?
I mean, clearly, I'm.
Okay, all right.
Got the cameras in the right spot for
Wait,
this. Hold on.
Got to make sure we got a cinephile in the production truck.
Cut to
Oh, you
Roy.
couldn't
There you
me.
go. That's
You
good.
couldn't
Cut
me.
to
Like,
Roy.
cut to the actual
That's
hand.
not what we're
There you
saying.
go.
There we
Right there.
go.
Right there. Right there.
What's the matter, Dylan?
Good job, boys.
The CIA have you pushing too many pencils?
Cut to Roy was amazing.
Oh.
All right, Amin, what do you want to talk about?
I
then?
wanna
If you don't
talk-
want to talk about the hockey.
I want to talk more about Carl Weathers being basically Carl Weathers from Arrested Development. Like, were you guys about to throw something out? Like, wait, hold on, baby. You put some broth with that? You got a stew going.
Dave, you should have known better. This is the only way to distract Amin from doing any sort of sports talk is mention Carl Weathers.
Oh, my God.
He will follow that path. But I thought yesterday was an incredible
Well, wait a
sports
second.
day.
Okay, we can talk about your sports in a while. We're on Creed for the next hour now. Thank you, Mike.
He's coming down the path with me. Let's go.
We've connected. Please, why get in the way of that? It's a love
Let the men
connection.
connect.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. Please continue.
Well, the NBA was really good. I know that might surprise you coming from me, but I'm into this Cleveland Cavs roster construction. And I've just been this
was that?
when it comes to James Harden, I'm just this wild pendulum that is swinging from one way. I can't tell if I like him or if I think he's overrated. I think I've said so many bad things about his career that in my mind I kind of underrated James Harden because I was into that OKC Cleveland game.
So hold
I
on,
think it
Mike.
was
Let me,
tight.
really
Even in
quick.
defeat, I was impressed with the
I was going to
Cavs.
say, so an Oklahoma City team that didn't have two of their top guys and then a bunch of people out, they still get beat pretty handily.
Dude, it's a Sunday matinee in OKC. It's hard to get up for that. I even know it's a defending champs, but that's a tough turnaround for James Harden. And I think that he
In
does
Oklahoma City?
I think
that's a tough turnaround for Oklahoma City? No
on the
way.
road, James
Old
Harden
home week.
on,
Old home week.
on a Sunday morning. Trust me,
James Harden, a career-long Connor McDavid level loser in big spots, but now that he's old, now he's good. Now we really got him going.
But
right, I mean,
But I think the Cavs are an interesting team. And then I was into Sunday night basketball that they're really trying to make a big deal over at NBC. You had Celtics, Lakers. And they sweetened the pot by making this Pat Riley Day. And they carried the halftime ceremony that was honoring Pat Riley as he was given his statue outside of the Lakers arena. And I thought the NBA had a pretty good day. It was a shout out to like their whole new broadcast partners. And the day was chock full of good basketball and interesting matchups.
The NBC Sunday night thing, this is a very specific thing. NBC basically wants to own Sunday night. And so their plan is from Sunday night football, Sunday night Olympics, Sunday night basketball.
It's very clever. The way the schedule set up was optimal. For
I think
them.
it's like 40 weeks out of the year. 40 Sundays are going to be Sunday night NBC Sports. And they basically laid stake to that. But while you mention statues, I want to talk about statues. I want to talk about statues that the Lakers put up. And everyone's like, oh, my God, it's so amazing. Pat Riley got a statue. And by the way, Pat Riley, incredible figure in Lakers history, incredible figure in NBA history. Is he deserving of a statue? Yes. In the same way that Kareem is deserving of a statue, Magic is deserving of a statue, Kobe, all these guys. I'm going to be the one to say it. Lakers, you guys are cowards because you give out statues to everybody. Statues should be like one, maybe two. Maybe two. And that's it. You have to make the hard decision who is statue worthy and who's not. And you know what the Lakers have done? They just said, oh, if your jersey's retired, you'll get a statue at some point.
Is it a Lakers call or an arena call? Because I've been outside that arena and Luke Robitaille has a statue.
Yeah, Luke Robitaille does have a statue.
It feels like they're trying to cultivate a sort of Yankees in the outfield style destination for fans to go and see all those statues.
Now, here's the problem. Yankees in the outfield, that is very regal. It's very well presented. It's organized. Crypto, it's basically like, just drop it. But here's put the statues everywhere. Just throw one up. Hey, let's have that Shaq one hanging. There's no rhyme or reason. It is just, you're just dodging statues as you're trying to enter this building. And they're all just in the one entrance. There's a zillion entrances all around the building. They could have spread them out around like a circle, like Sentry, guarding the arena. Nope. Just throw them anywhere. Just throw anywhere. Oh, by the way, Chick Hearn, you get a statue too. Hey, Oscar De La Hoya, you get a statue too. It's crazy.
I do agree. Oscar De La Hoya and Luke Robitaille and Wayno Gretzky. I mean, with Wayno Gretzky in L.A., very strange. Ultimately, I mean, played wins in in another country, wins a bunch of cups, then goes and plays for other American teams. Why they would build a statue?
It's like a Joe Montana statue in Kansas City.
Yeah, right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. No, like, the statue thing is out of control. It's so gimmicky because the statue is supposed to mean, wow. Like, remember, what was the first, like, real statue that was it Michael Jordan in front of the United Center? Like, oh, man, like, this guy's the greatest player ever. And then the Rockets came out with, like, a Hakeem Olajuwon plaque because he doesn't believe in statues. And I was like, oh, that's cool right there. Even the Celtics, you say, oh, the Lakers have such a rich history. Celtics have a rich history, right? You know how many statues they got outside of their building? One, it's Red Auerbach. Really? The Bill Russell one ain't even outside their building. It's somewhere else in town.
Dan Marino is a pretty sweet one. Yeah.
That's fine. That's all right. Like, hey, like, if you got your one set, maybe two.
I think Shula has one on the other side.
Yeah,
that's
Shula
fine.
has one, yeah.
That's fine. But when you get to, like, just statues everywhere, it's kind of ridiculous,
I think that's a cutoff for the Dolphins franchise. Those two.
No Tyreek Hill?
Is there one that crosses a line, though? So wait, which ones, Amin, are you asserting don't belong? What's the worst statue out there in these United States?
That's not,
in terms of merit, not appearance.
Sports, I'm talking. Yeah, well, we can have a different conversation about, the quality of. The Tom Brady one in Foxborough is an embarrassment. Yeah. The head's too small.
That's on
like
purpose.
when you got the figurine of the Star Wars people back in the day, the head on the Han Solo originally was way too small for the rest of the figurine. Same thing happened to Brady.
Yeah, I guess that's my point, Dave. It's not my place to say who doesn't deserve a statue.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing.
No, I'm saying I'm putting the onus on the team to say, hey, we can't give a statue to everybody.
Mark Madsen.
We've got two. We've got two statues we can put out. Who are the two? Who are the two? Who are your two, Lakers? The Lakers are cheating. They're like, I can't upset these guys. I can't upset those guys. Everyone's got to get a statue. That's the coward's way out.
Yeah, but you won't say the guy that doesn't deserve
It's
it.
not my team.
What's the cutoff for the Lakers?
Not my two. You get two statues.
I mean, you can't just have a standard law that no matter how great your franchise is versus the Miami Dolphins that you only get two. The Dolphins only have two people that are worthy of statues in the history of the franchise.
How many do the Lakers actually have?
The Lakers have to have
Kobe.
Shaq.
You got to have Shaq. You got to have Kareem, and you got to have Pat.
How about Wilt?
Magic.
How about Magic?
Magic, right.
Magic, Wilt? No,
maybe
Wilt,
Jerry
no.
West.
And
a lot of
West.
legends.
You must, if you're going to start.
West has the
West
logo.
doesn't
West
get a
has the
statue.
logo.
You guys don't need all these statues.
He's the
man.
logo.
He's got the logo.
But he doesn't need a statue.
Exactly right.
You guys
Just
don't
based
need
off of American lore, American history, the way we do things here in America, it's 4 for every franchise. You're Mount Rushmore of your franchise. Each person gets a
I'll
statue.
give you 4. You know what?
Okay.
I'm
If
two,
we want to standardize this, all right.
I'll go with
Pat
4.
Shea.
But they still got way more than 4. They still got way more than 4.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you on the Lakers principle in particular, but that's a way to get franchises here moving forward to be able to stick to a standard is if we only have 4, and it's not like you could take one away.
Yes, you can. Yes,
you want
can.
them to be interchangeable.
If you're like, oh my God, but this guy, like using my example from earlier, this guy scored 7 goals in the third period. How can we not honor him? All right, you got to tell me who's coming down. We're gonna pull him down like when they pulled down Saddam's statue in Iraq. That's how we're gonna do it.
The universe
With
is
a rope?
infinite. The universe is infinite, but the amount of soil available on the big blue marble is limited,
Mm-hmm.
and so. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio can only build out so much. At some point, we're going to have to retract some of those busts
There you go.
and gold jackets, and I submit for the millionth time that the first one to lose his gold jacket is Bob Greasy.
Really?
Bob Greasy has no business having a gold
thought
jacket.
you
It's
would've-
ridiculous that he has one.
Over Joe Namath?
Yeah, over Joe Namath. Joe Namath, who has the iconic victory of the Super Bowl era. Yes, over Bob Greasy, who threw 4 passes in a Super Bowl
Yeah,
once.
but they were undefeated.
Okay, then let's put Jim Plunkett and Eli Manning and everybody else who's won a couple of Super Bowls in there too.
You are preaching to the choir when you say Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame, buddy.
That's fine by me. So what would be the Jaguars' 4 statues?
You don't have
Brunel?
to build 4.
So we leave some.
Fred Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Tony Baselli?
Jimmy Smith.
Baselli for sure.
You
there you go.
you
There's
don't
your four.
force them.
And then we take them down when better
There's
legends
a max
emerge.
of
Is
4.
what we're gonna do.
You don't force them.
Yeah, you don't. I'm with Chris. You don't. You know when you got a statue guy. You can't just say, I'm gonna make him a statue guy because I got a spot. No, you gotta save that thing. You gotta be. Wait a second, something better might come along.
So Dolphins would go Zonka would be the third one, certainly, right?
Jason Taylor.
I don't know
Color
about
me
Zonka.
underwhelmed.
Zach
if
Thomas?
Jason Taylor gets or Zach Thomas.
If we want to talk Panthers, is it just Barkov right now?
Or Rondé
Oh,
Gatson.
it's Chucky too.
Chucky already got one?
Kachuk, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Turn
Beezer?
franchise around. No, look into it. There's a reason why
A rat.
history's kind of turned
Did you
its
say-
back on Beezer.
Yeah.
A giant rat. What
Yeah.
what I liked from the Pat Riley
Yeah.
thing is I don't know how I feel. Because then I feel like an old man for saying this. I dig where his head's at. Wear what you want on the sideline. You're a multimillionaire head coach and all of that. If you want to wear a sweatsuit, that's your choice. But if you want to look cool, go like Pat Riley and wear a suit. Of course, I would do that. What would you wear, Amin?
Classism. Classist.
You're
are
the
a
head
classist,
coach
sir.
of the team.
We are all a team. There's no I in team.
So then wear the uniform like the baseball guys do.
No, that's ridiculous. We're gonna wear these
Drawing a
cool
line.
quarter zips and
That-
fitted
cool.
pants and
Cool.
cool sneakers that are comfortable, as opposed to some hard bottoms like I'm going to a funeral.
A quarter zip, that's the first time I've heard it described as cool. I mean,
the ones they have are cool.
utilitarian perhaps, but not cool. You know, and you could express this is something the NFL should do too. And the NFL, like a decade or so ago, got in the way of doing it. A couple of coaches, Jack Del Rio and I think it was Mike Nolan, if I remember correctly, wanted to wear suits, and the league got in the way and they said, no, they're not Reebok approved. And so they had to wear some
Hold
weird
on. So could they wear a Reebok suit?
That's what ended up happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Does Jack
Yeah.
Del Rio get a statue, by the way?
No.
from
No,
whom?
no.
Second to
come on.
Coughlin
Yeah.
franchise.
It's him chopping wood. Remember the chopping wood incident? That was a great chapter in pro football history. He had every win, I think it was, they would swing an axe in the locker room and he would got to keep chopping wood. And then the punter tried to do it and he almost cut his leg off.
It happens. It's a contact sport.
Didn't Urban Meyer kick the punter once, or was that the kicker?
Oh, in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yeah.
I think it was a kicker.
Yeah. Was it Josh Scobie?
Scobie. It was Scobie.
Come on, baby.
Is Urban Meyer get a statue?
Yeah.
He just had his spot blown up.
Again?
Well, no, not historically.
Statute is
the
more
same
like
way.
it instead of statue. Statute.
Taché gets it. He's got an old soul about him, right? You know, the
that's-
suit
is it the
way
blazer
to
that he's
go.
wearing?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, look,
What's wrong with my blazer?
You can personalize it. It doesn't have to be the exact same. It doesn't have to be a gray flannel suit. It could be whatever you want. Doug Moe used to wear zany outfits, right?
The plaid, the crazy colors and all that. Man, you should look up Hubie Brown in the ABA. He had some crazy suits too.
Jack Ramsey.
Jack Ram. Oh, Dr. Jack for sure. The suit thing, I don't like it because, I mean, maybe I'm speaking from experience here, but like, because not all suits are created equally. And so if you looked at an NBA bench pre-pandemic and you'd see people who had very well-tailored suits, and then as you go further along, you see the guys, it's just like whatever Men's Warehouse had on sale. And it's just like, hey,
Who
man,
are the impoverished people on an NBA bench?
the assistant coaches. This is why we needed to do this, right? Because people assume that everybody working on staff is living the life. And the reality is your head coach makes a ton of money. Your associate head coach, who's typically been a head coach somewhere else, he makes a bunch of money. And then that third seat down. These people are making regular-ass salaries, if not less than regular-ass salaries.
That's why they get to wear polos.
Well, now that's why we all wear polos. Classism. We're out. We're out on classist behavior.
Well, you know,
We're not going to pay them any better.
To make the point about how you can distinguish yourself from your peers, you know, there was a guy named Bum Phillips, Wade Phillips' old man, Houston Oilers head coach from way back. He used to go out onto the NFL gridiron in a 10-gallon hat, and
His was 20.
Do you know when the Rams played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, whatever that was, 10 years or so, the Jared Goff Super Bowl, 13-3, I got in touch with Wade in advance, and I said, honor, you know, obviously you and I both revere your old man. you should dress as bum on the sideline for that game. The league stepped in and said you're not allowed to do it. So he wore his old man's jacket and hat and all the rest of it on the team flight. And really, that's one of my great achievements.
How do you keep getting credentialed? The league must hate you. You're such a rabble rouser.
That's a great idea. I made it better. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not saying the idea is bad. I'm just saying the NFL, very staunch, very staid, very stoic. A lot of ST words there. And then here comes Dave Dameshek and his circus of
That's a great idea.
buffoonery.
Right. They're curmudgeons and got in the way of it largely, but it's still, I think everybody celebrated it.
That's my point. The curmudgeons, how do they keep saying, okay, credential request for this next Super Bowl? Who we got here?
Curmudgeons at the NCAA didn't like the idea of both USC and UCLA wearing their home jerseys against one another. So I got Pete Carroll and Rick Neuheisel on the phone at the same time on my old radio show, and I got them to agree to accept 15-yard penalties for delay a game so that they could go back to wearing their home jerseys against one another, and they continue to do so to this very day.
But that's weird, right?
Not weird. Great. Good looking. Distinctive.
To jump back to a conversation we were having last hour, I saw somebody nominate like sporting events in history that you want to say you were at. Where does Tyson biting Holyfield fall in there? It's not Malice at the Palace, but it's a good one.
Do I get to catch the ear?
Yes.
That's one.
The one that people talk about the most as the signature celebrity event to that point was the first Ali Frazier.
Oh, yeah. The Frank Lucas fight.
If there's any fight...
If he never would have wore that mink, Dameshek, he never would have got caught. Why? Because they asked him, who's that guy with the mink in front of...
Am I cracking top 10 by saying I was at the Copa America final in which they were falling from the AC vents?
Wow. That was
I was there
here,
too,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
I had a ticket and couldn't scan it because it had been run
They
down.
had destroyed it.
They were just anyone was walking in.
I
have a ticket.
What is the number one you've attended? I went to, I think, probably objectively speaking, not for my rooting interests, being at the Malcolm Butler pick was I was at 28-3.
Yeah.
Were you at any sporting events that were infamous? Not necessarily famous for how it played out on the field, because a great game is a great game, and that's a great moment, but chaos surrounding the game, like Malice at the Palace, the Tyson biting the ear, the Copa America final. You have anything in that class?
I don't. I was once when I was very young, I went to a Penguins Edmonton Oilers game, and all the benches cleared, and it was a bloody, legitimate mess. And I remember the organ player playing "Let There Be Peace on Earth" over as these guys. I mean, it went on. It was protracted. It went on. People were crying. I remember as a little kid looking around, people were crying. It was deeply upsetting to people.
I like the organ player said, "I've got it." Mike, I was at Spurs Heat Game 1 2014 when the AC went out. Does that count?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes,
The cramp
infamous, and that was a great game.
Yep.
Oh, I was at the Lights Out game. That's I guess that's
New Orleans?
semi-infamous. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Mike,
Well, Copa
Yeah,
America,
the
I
guys-
think it has to be it.
People
is that
follow the-
Vuvuzela?
Jeremy was doing sideline for a Heat fight this past weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen
Scottie
going
Pippen
after
Jr.,
Myron
yeah.
Gardner. It was unbelievable.
As a sideline reporter, Jeremy, I was looking. You got to get in the muck.
So this
there.
is what's so funny. That was in my corner where I'm normally sitting, but with about 2 minutes to go, I get up and I walk over to the other side
'Cause you're
because
about to
that's
do
where
the
the sideline
post-game,
interview
yeah.
is going to happen for post-game. Last couple games I've done, they haven't won. I've stayed in the corner. It wasn't even close. But this game, it was obvious they were going to win. So I had just gotten up not 30 seconds before. I was standing right next to the Grizzlies bench as I hear everyone losing their minds, and I turn and see Myron Gardner headed to the ground because Scottie Pippen Jr. has put his hands around his neck. And it was right after I had seen, like, oh, Myron Gardner, yeah, he knocked him down on that three. That wasn't cool there. I'd seen the rebound. It was nuts. I've never seen a fracas of that level at the Heat's arena.
Fracas.
I went to either Jose's last or second to last start before he passed away. Him and Kershaw, the duel between him and Kershaw. I was there
But
behind home
that's
plate.
just in hindsight. You're just trying to get in this game, but I don't really.
But
That count?
What do
you guys tell me if I'm wrong.
You're
Like,
talking about infamous games. Like,
No,
it's
that's
a
a good
great
one.
game in
That's a good
history of a guy who died here. Do you care about Jose or no?
of course I do.
Okay,
but
it doesn't
like-
sound like
oh,
you.
oh,
We have the jersey around
This
here
doesn't
somewhere.
belong in this category, though.
What do you mean it doesn't belong in this category? It's a great game that gets forgotten.
You left the game and you're like, that was just a normal game.
No, I
I'm
didn't,
going
because
home.
I was like, wow, that was one of the greatest pitchers duels I've ever seen.
All right, fine. You can be in the game. I'm sorry.
That's stupid. You know what I'm talking about.
Jeremy, the fight finally gives Myron Gardner something about him that's the guy that Caron Butler made apologize to Klay Thompson.
I love Myron Gardner.
Now he's the guy that got in a fight with Scottie Pippen Jr., but the play that preceded it that you kind of glossed over was a dirty play.
Absolutely.
Like, because here's a wild thing. The only way I can describe it is it looks like he set a back screen for a Grizzlies guard who's going to dribble up court. There's no way, there's no reasoning if we're shooting at this basket for you to act like you're setting a pick into the back of a defender who's not even going in that direction.
Yeah, what happened on the play was there was a play down at the Heat's end on the previous possession where when Myron Gardner and Scottie Pippen Jr. were going up for a rebound, Pippen had grabbed him and kind of thrown him to the ground on the rebound. And so Gardner gets up, and after on the other end now, on the Grizzlies' offensive side, Pippen shoots a three, and Gardner running back at close to full speed to the other side of the court, instead of stopping short of Scottie Pippen Jr., runs right into the back of him, stops, quote unquote, but gives him a little bit of a chicken wing and hits him and knocks him to the floor.
But his stance was of someone setting a screen.
Yeah, as if...
But you're on defense.
Yes, as if he needed to set a screen on Scottie Pippen Jr., who I guess would have been running back the other way if you want to make the argument that there was going to be pace the other direction. It wasn't. Like, Myron Gardner was upset. He made physical contact with Pippen. Pippen falls to the ground because you don't often get hit from your blind side in basketball.
And then my favorite part, Pippen's on the ground, and you can see he has that moment of just like, let me compose myself. Then he looks at the ref, and the ref is like, play on. He's like,
that was the problem, by the way. The
the-
refs doing nothing about that hit or not calling a foul there is the reason why Scottie Pippen then decides, all right, time to take this into my own hands, literally.
Myron's a strong name, by the way. We need to bring it back.
Great name. I'm with you on that.
Myron is always, look, I'm an aficionado of something we call the 20CB. This is this era of television and movies that had the monoculture that was strong, and there were certain themes in the 20CB, Dave, that were universal, right? One of them is the concept of someone named Myron absolutely is a nerd. Myron is a guy who sounds like this. Like Myron's got glasses. Myron's annoying.
Myron Cope on sports. What about Chester? I think we need to bring that one back as well.
I like Chester.
That's a cool name.
Chester is a cool name.
Speaking of fouls, though,
we're just
in
moving off the names.
basketball,
Got it.
I think that that basketball's official method of punishment is a little underrated. I think it's pretty we celebrate the penalty box in hockey as probably the gold standard of proper shaming within the game. That go sit in there and feel shame for a couple of minutes. I learned a new one, though, a new candidate for best proper shaming method, biathlon in this thing. You know, I know it's all hockey now.
Wait, biathlon is the one where you're skiing and shooting guns at the same time. It's the James Bond
Pretty
event.
much people say, what do you like better, summer or winter games? All the winter games are ones that sort of came from things that you just have to do if you're in Scandinavia, right? To get around. Like cross-country skiing is like, well, that's how we get from here to there, and now let's make it a sport. But also we have to hunt for what we eat, so now we'll involve
skiing.
the gunplay and all the rest of it.
I always get thrown off by some of these sports because I say to myself, how do you find out you're good at it? Like, basketball, you go out to the playground and people are, oh, he's pretty good. And they,
Ooh, this guy's tall.
Right.
Put him over here.
Football, like, oh, he's a big kid. All right, look, oh, he's pretty fast, whatever. Like every sport, but even baseball, you go out there, you're playing stickball, whatever. Like, how do you find out, man, I'm really nice at skiing and shooting things at the same time?
Well, I think that's a part of your day-to-day. You grow up and you're out there like, we don't have anything to eat tonight. Hey, Seth, let's go out and see if we can find something. Then you go out with your gun and your your cross country skis, and maybe you bring back a moose.
You talk about origins, though. I'm talking about 2026. How do these people figure out, man, I'm really good at it? They weren't hunting.
I'm fascinated by exactly what you're getting at. I can go outside and miss the first 1,000 shots I take in basketball before one goes in. Like, okay, I'm improving now. What's the equivalent of that with the ski jump? Like, I mean, how many bones would you have to break before you're like, I can land now? I can land on my feet now and just keep on going. Like, how do you ramp up to that?
It's just,
Just repeated wipeouts. But the biathlon, the penalty is they have something called a penalty loop. You have to take an extra lap if you miss a shot, which is just the greatest. That's right up there with the penalty box. Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I feel like the dirty part of these kind of sports is like they once had dreams to be like the main people at the main sports, but then they realize I'm not that good at these cross country skiing or like whatever events. I got to do something else. So I'm a good skier. And like, all right, they got a thing that I can shoot a gun with. And I'm like, all right, I think I could do that. And the guy's there and he's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. So he dedicates his, 3 years after they told him you're not going to be part of the ski team to do some other thing.
well, that's that. And then the other people I think of like that are the bobsled people.
Like, hey, I can't do anything. What can I do?
No,
You can bobsled.
Well, the bobsled, but like bobsled recruits a lot of track athletes, like the ones who weren't good enough to make it like in the
Right. If
sprints.
you're not steering it, it's just about being fast.
Yeah.
They were celebrating a guy on the U.S. team, to your point, who was, I think, a Texas football player or something. And then they're like, well, I just sort of as a hobby got into bobsledding in the last year or two. Like, don't tell that story if you're a bobsledder because it's an embarrassment to your sport. You shouldn't be able to decide to do it
You're a failure
and then
at
be
other
doing
sports.
it 6 months later.
It does undercut the whole sport.
Don't you remember Lolo Jones? Like Lolo Jones was this big deal, and then in track she washed at all the events, and then she kind of was like a jerk, and people really didn't like her, or whatever. And then she resurfaced on the Winter Olympic team as a bobsledder because again, it's like, yes, this is a sport that I have zero experience at. That like within a short amount of time, if I have certain tools, I can be an Olympian.
There was the long distance runner. I don't remember what specifically the event was, but in the summer games 2 years ago, there was the woman who was like, yeah, I'm a financial analyst. And then I decided to become a runner. And 3 months later, now I won the gold medal. Like, isn't that a great story? No, it's an embarrassment. Then remove that sport from the Olympics. Clearly, it is not up to snuff. They should not be giving away a medal for somebody who decides to play that sport a couple weeks ago.
Juju, put it on the poll. Should they be giving away a medal for a sport that you decided to play a few weeks ago?
Well, they should. Listen, we already covered this last week, but the bobsled people, we already you understand. There's the two-man bobsled.
Yeah.
The guy who drives it, and then the guy who pushes
Steers
it.
Yeah.
And it works, and it goes fast, and then they complete it, and they cross the finish line, and then they give out the medals for it.
Yes.
There's no need for a four-man version of it.
Of course there is.
Clearly, we have exposed that you only need two people for this to work.
Of
And
course.
we don't need the second and third
You
guys except me
do.
so they get medals.
You do need those two extra people because if it weren't for that four-man bobsled where two people don't have to do anything, then us jokers here would have never been on a bobsled before. We got to ride the bobsled in the Olympic Village in Salt Lake City because we got to sit in the seats where you don't have to do anything, which I guess is proving your point. I could be an Olympian, and I just don't know.
That's the silver lining. What are we doing with
Silver,
ourselves?
sir, it's a gold lining.
We have 4 years.
Winners around here.
We have 4 years to get it together and become U.S. luge or bobsledders. In the meantime, so basketball, so you have the penalty box, you have the penalty loop. Basketball is a little underrated in my book. What's your favorite official shaming mechanism?
The red card's pretty good. Yeah. Because it's pretty
proper.
weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird. Like we have this color-coded system. I'm going to present you with a card. You're going to have a big emotional reaction to it, and you're going to have to walk off the pitch dramatically.
Well, the thing about the red card is there's a massive buildup to it. Like people say, "Oh, it's just like a technical foul."
Yeah,
the difference is in the NBA basketball, a technical foul is immediate. It's like
right.
Boop,
You have the
technical foul.
suspense of what color is it going to be.
Well, it's because it's this. It's like first of all, the guy's all the way across the field, so the ref's got to run
Jogs
over
over.
there, and then he slows.
He's looking in his pocket.
he's
too.
going
He always
for it.
slows down. He always slows down before he gets there, and he's like fiddling in the back, like, where is this thing? And then he pulls out that little wallet where the card is, and then he's opening it up. And then it's like, which one is it?
Big reveal.
And then he pulls it out, and then he doesn't just like flash it to him. He's got to go
Like it's a middle finger.
Rah! And then after that, I don't know if they still do this. I know they used to do this. I got to write it down. Hey, what's your name again? Turn around. Okay.
You get the right number.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the bureaucracy of the red card.
It's a performative deal.
Absolutely. You
And,
got
but they don't get to keep it though, right? They don't
No.
like, here's your yellow card. Carry it with you the rest of the day.
And they get a free
they,
sub at Quiznos.
They
with it.
should do that. That would be a nice little move. That
Just-
would
they
that
have
would
to
enhance
the hold it.
the
It's just like
shaming.
a nuisance.
You're not allowed to touch the ball
like-
with your
like
hands. I mean,
running
the
around
soccer
with it.
rules, you don't get to use your hands on it. But right, yeah, just you have to run around with that thing the rest of the game, right?
You got the ref like the Joker, just a bunch of calling cards that he leaves on
Maybe
the
every
bodies
jersey
of people.
has a slot in your chest.
Oh yeah,
So now you're like, if you have a yellow card, you're running around with a yellow thing. on your
scarlet
chest.
letter, right? Yeah.
No, it's a yellow letter.
How do we feel about does the umpire strike 3 fall into this, or are we talking more
No.
punishments?
I'm talking
Because
punishment.
I love a little, get out.
The basketball, well, you get it. The equivalent of the yellow card in our football is obviously the yellow flag, which is thrown in your direction. You know,
NFL, it's just
No, I like the flag when it's like when something egregious has happened, the ref will be like, "Oh no," and he just chucks it in the air like that.
yeah, I like when they go for the belt. Like, no, I'm not.
Just throw that up in the air. I do like Roy was miming it to me. The NBA referee cool technical foul. Joey Crawford, you do this where he doesn't go with the full hands,
The little
he goes
T.
just with the fingers, boop, like that. There's a little dismissiveness in that. Oh, you thought you could say that? No, you can't. Technical foul.
Yeah, if we have time, we can get into that this week. We have a long week ahead of us, and baseball's upon us. We should figure out which, if you were going to the pen, if you're the skipper and you're going out to pull your pitcher, what's your move to the pen to let everybody in the ballpark know that you're going to the lefty? I think that baseball.
You want us to just percolate on that idea and bring it back to you later in
Sure,
the week?
sure. Yeah, it's a rich idea.
Okay.
We'll do hours on that.
I agree.
Taché. I think that basketballs is underrated. That you have to foul. Now you have to stand there. You just stand there, right in the middle of the floor, right on the side of the floor, while your victim just stands 3-4 feet away from you and just shoots for free.
free throws? Yeah.
Just stand there and stare at it. How's that make you feel? Criminal.
Not as criminal as the review. When you get a flagrant foul and they got to review it, because again, it brings back from soccer the build-up and the anticipation. What are they seeing on that screen? What do they see? Are they seeing? I didn't see. And then you're trying to watch up on the screen, big screen, and then you're looking at their body language, like, hey, are they gonna see that? I didn't mean it, or whatever. And then the ref comes and he adjusts the microphone. If you're Billy Kennedy, you do a whole production. You're like, the offending player undercut the offensive player on a layup, which is deemed excessive and inappropriate contact. The player has been ejected for a flagrant 2 foul. Home team ball. Like he tells it like it's a story. And if you're on the wrong end of that story sucks. Right? You're like, no, come on, Billy. What are you doing?
Yeah,
to me?"
some guys lead with the top line information is the player's ejected and here's why. This is a personal foul and here's why. And then the details.
Yeah.
Don't lead it up. I'm not here for your storytelling, pal.
What?
Just let me know what's going.
No,
I like
it's
it.
one of the
It's
best parts of an NBA broadcast is seeing Bill Kennedy.
Not if you're rooting
explain
for the
a flagrant
team. Not if
foul.
you have a team
The
involved in the
anticipation?
game.
Oh, you don't like the anticipation of
What
that?
if, what if your guy's the hero of the story? Turns out
Then
he
it's
didn't.
good.
Right? Then that whole build-up gets to this crescendo, and you're like, yeah!
Especially if the announcers have anticipated. So, like the play-by-play and the color guy are talking like, oh, well, that's clearly going to be a flagrant foul on our player. He's likely to be ejected. Like, I can't believe this is going to happen. And then Bill Kennedy tells you this whole long-winded story that ends with the punctuation mark of, actually, your guy's still here.
Yeah.
Well,
Continue to play the game.
The review that feels like it should have been a part of a different century or something is that they look at a player's face to see if he's bleeding in hockey. Like 2 minutes or 5, we got to determine if they
double
drew
minor.
blood.
extra minutes.
Like Wes McCauley. 4 minutes.
And then we all
Five
cheer.
seconds.
Yay, our guy's bleeding. We get 5-minute major.
So, anyways, I think the Cavs are going to be a threat in the East.
Yeah.
any comic?
I think that it's I can simplify it, right? I can simplify it. I think what some people tend to make extremely complex and difficult, I do a good job of making those things easy, right? For me, I look at it from a perspective of we all have an option in our life to do as much as we possibly can, right? And you can take that option and max it out, or you can do the minimum, or you can, do, I guess, what can be deemed to be the mid-level of whatever, right? But there's things that are put around us that do nothing but give us the opportunity to succeed and grow. And it's how you use those tools around you to basically be a version of your best benefit. And my tools that I've been able to form and put myself around are people, right? I've been around some really great people that have achieved a lot of amazing things in their lives and their careers. And in doing that, it's motivating, it's inspiring.
But have you met many like you? The Rock you guys seem to have like a common space where you both understand, we want everything. We want everything. You've met a lot of people like that?
I've met a lot of people like that. I'm an entrepreneur, right? So an entrepreneur, businessman, a mogul, whatever you want to define it as, there's people that have multiple layers. There's people that want to do a lot of things. There's people that do a lot of things. There's a lot of companies that have been developed to basically now act in a space because of their now ecosystem. They're able to do so much, right? Like the bandwidth of one thing is no longer just the one. It's, look at Amazon, look at Disney, look at these companies that have a multi-layered system, right? It's an amusement park, but then we do animation, and the animation has went into television, and now we are going out of this into experience, and experience, it's also an activation of experiential. Well, that's somebody that keeps compounding on one idea, right? Amazon, what was once one thing, well, now is Amazon Prime, Amazon Fresh Markets.
You are many things. You are tequilas. You are interview shows. You are documentaries.
Everything. But it comes from looking and being inspired by the people that are doing it at the highest level. So I'm trying my best to create an ecosystem. So Kevin Hart is not just the talent anymore. That's one layer, right? The talent got me in the door to be an investor. The investments got me in a place to build on opportunities that I thought that I would never have. I have a fast food plant-based restaurant. I have a tequila. I'm in the space of health and wellness. I have my plant-based protein to my vitamins, to my gummies. That's in Vita Hustle. Like, you have athleisure. That's in Fabletics. And men, like, these are all own entities. These aren't like ambassador roles, right?
How many employees do you have in that ecosystem?
Right now, my ecosystem, I'm probably somewhere around like 220, maybe. Like between, if I were to go through Hart House, Grand Coromino, Heartbeat Ventures, probably pushing around 220.
Because your life looks, from the outside, anybody would look at it and say, man, that seems fun. And some of what I see in your life, because I'm way outside it, obviously, is like, man, that seems like a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure, a lot of people that he doesn't want to let down. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if his life is always fun. I don't know how he leads. It seems like he's got a lot on him.
Well, you have to have some type of passion for the thing that you're doing, right? Like, is it stressful? Does it become a lot of times? Of course, but that's a part of the journey. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was, then everybody would do it. So I think the separation within the opportunity and individuals come from those that can take on the task. So delegating, organizing, building structure, all of that stuff, it comes from grasping the mindset that you can't be the one doing it all. You have to invest in people and trust in others to help you build. You need great minds around you. You need ideas. You need people that can flourish within the thing that you're building. That's the only way it gets bigger.
There it is.
There it is. There's the first goal. United States has scored.
Do something. No.
Do something?
Okay.
Oh, and we got a goal. Kale McCarr
Canada has
scored.
tied
We
the
are
game.
tied at 1.
3.5 Miller Lite, Steve.
Okay.
I
Oh.
think it's really good, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
How did that not go
Luke
in?
Buck- Oh,
my
what?
God.
Oh my god.
God.
Yeah. What the hell?
I did not realize face-offs were a team sport.
Did Charlie McAvoy just make that save?
Baldy, Matthew, and Hughes.
You think those three are going to start off overtime for the Americans?
Remember, it's just 3.
The puck has dropped. And here we go. 1955 right now. Wide open shot. It's gone. This is 1.
It's over.
Goal.
Look
Wait,
who's here.
Dan Le Batard has joined us from the Dan Le Batard Show. Dan, you got to see that goal. What do you think?
Morning, Dan.
What
Say it,
right
Dan.
now,
Let's
early
Ethan.
in Los
Let's
Angeles.
Ethan. Say it, Dan. Say it,
Shut
Dan.
up,
Let's
Ethan. Let
Ethan.
Dan talk. Let Dan talk. Shut up, Ethan. Go ahead, Dan.
How does Ethan feel comfortable yelling what he thinks I'm going to say when I neither saw him nor am awake enough to know what even happened? Because I just texted you guys, what's the link? And Roy wrote me back, the game's over, Dan.
Jack Eichel was your boy. Connor Hellebuck was your boy. I can't believe we do not deserve this. Just like morally, from like a diplomatic standpoint, we do not deserve this. But
Oh, the irony.
boy, will I take it. Go Saints! Go Saints! USA! Golden generation!
It's after the goal.
Ethan, shut up.
Ethan, shut up. I'm talking.
Well, it really has. It surprised me even the level of pride that Americans all over, coast to coast, seem to be feeling about this. And in fact, over in Milan, some Americans were celebrating, not just Jack Hughes. He was carried around the Olympic Village by his teammates last night. They threw it on real good, I imagine. And did you see in the locker room, though, immediately after that the director of the FBI was in there drinking with them and singing and whatever. And Matthew Tkachuk put his gold medal around Kash Patel's neck, and a lot of people reacted. Kash Patel is tweeting about it. A lot of people are angry about it. They think it's a violation of his position. What did you think about that, Mike?
You know, he's a known hockey fan. He's been at Ovechkin's record-breaking performance. He said 7 months ago that he was going to be there, and it wasn't an empty threat. He's a big hockey guy
and a hero.
No violation. Not any concerns about his.
No, we're so well. This one, whereas in previous years, that might actually be a news story of him using
Taxpayer money
to get himself over there. It's just like, a Monday morning blurb.
Do we want to see clips of this in case anybody hasn't seen what we're talking about here?
The audience
Here's
here,
Kash Patel
our
in
video,
the dressing room.
yeah, our video team's looking at it right here. This is just,
Let's go.
Dylan Larkin.
oh, just.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people that would like a certain segment of the population to stick to sports are going to be totally quiet on this.
It's separation of church and state, and very many people. I understand you've been talking about this a little bit of late, Mike Ryan, that this has come up in your world, that sometimes people don't do a good enough job of separating sports and politics.
That's because this administration makes it incredibly difficult, too, to separate the two. They are very smart about how they use sports to normalize themselves as personalities and officials. And in that sport and many other sports, you kind of have to take it on the chin because you also respect your right to say things. And it's just a part of the deal. I wish, it wasn't using taxpayer funds. And I'm just personally speaking, I'm not super cool with how cool everybody is with the current situation. And that person, that person in particular, but it's just times like these in America that you just gotta roll with it, I think.
Well, yeah. Let's. Why we're talking all around that we have him here with us as it happens this morning. Probably still a little hungover. It's Kash Patel. How are you? Congratulations to the nation, not just to you.
Thank you. And I don't see what the big deal is. I was on FBI business in Milan, and it just so happened they had a hockey game going. So you can bet on that.
It was at the bottom of that beer bottle, the FBI business?
Well, you know, I have to drink because I am thirsty, and that's all they had in the locker room because they won. So you can bet on that.
I wonder if this will be a plague on 6 months, 6 years from now that Matthew Tkachuk put his gold medal around Kash Patel. Do you think that history will remember that moment well for Tkachuk?
If you think that's the only moment history is going to remember, just wait till I get to Miami and go to 11 tonight for the party that just happens to be next to some totally real FBI business downtown Miami that I have to do.
You're in Miami now, though, right?
Well, you can bet on that.
All right, I was making sure because didn't know you might be drunk and didn't know where you were yet.
Sometimes looking at a map can be confusing for me.
In terms of it aging poorly, like you're asking about, Dave, like these people don't know, like it's already aged poorly. You know what I mean? Anyone who's sitting here yucking it up and laughing at jokes that the president's making about not, I've got to invite the women's team to the White House too. Like those sensibilities aren't going to know that the things that they're doing right now are going to age poorly in the eyes of history.
There's a women's team? I didn't bet on that.
We do have the clip, if you want to play for the audience, of the men's U.S. team talking to Trump in the locker room after the game. Let's play that.
Let's see it.
We'll get Cash and we'll get the military to get you guys over.
Okay, I'm going to let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union. The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's a worse blizzard. We'll be sailing through that stuff just like you did on the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. Absolutely. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
On the podcast Cinephobe, Zach Harper, Amino Hass, and Anthony Mays, they have a repeating bit called the Doc Rivers press conference laughter, which is when someone says something that is only mildly amusing, but everyone who is beholden to them laughs hysterically like Eddie Murphy in his prime. I do believe that was the Doc Rivers press conference laughter, and you can bet on that. Jeremy, I'll see you in Valhalla, brother. Okay, I got to stop doing this. My eyes are hurting.
Yeah. I don't think the camera does it justice.
The best Doc Rivers laugh that you get is on NFL pregame shows when they're talking about a matchup and they're like, I think that the ex running back will say, I think the guy who's the X factor in this one is the star running back of that team, and then they go like, you would say that as a running back, and then so true. I always defend running back.
I love that, man. It's jocular, right? It's just the boys. That's the point of those shows. It's like, hey, imagine the locker room if it were on TV, even though it's nothing like the locker room. But that's what people want to believe. They want to believe that this is exactly what locker room culture is like. And I've been very fascinated with this concept of people wanting to believe stuff because I watched Begonia yesterday, finally, with my dad.
What'd you think?
Loved it.
Yeah,
now, that's
that
a
was
movie.
great.
Don't talk to me about one battle or one.
Oh,
that's a movie.
Don't start. There's no reason for you to take
There
a
is.
shot at the better movie. Begonia was very good. It was
it's
not
a
as good
better
as
movie. I'm gonna tell you why because it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
It's not a great movie.
It's a great movie that 5 years from now, 20 years from now, Amin and everybody else will be talking about the greatness of the enduring classic that is One Battle After Another.
I found it to be...
It's like Boogie Nights.
No.
It is going to be one of those movies.
There's no way. There's no way, Dave.
The more you sit
20
with
years
it,
from now, we're going to remember Jack Hughes, and we're going to remember One Battle After Another, please.
He's making good points.
Thank you.
So wait, to go all the way back, Tony, we're not going to remember Jack Hughes?
I didn't even remember his name. I had to look it up.
Tony Hughes.
Wait,
You
is
didn't remember him from yesterday?
Is Jack Hughes a good hockey player?
Yeah,
He's a young up-and-comer.
He's
Where does he play?
New
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not the better of the two brothers, but he's
There's another
There's a
Hughes?
brother?
yeah.
Quinn.
Quinn Hughes was unbelievable this tournament.
Wow, okay.
He's the
And
one that
very,
sees ghosts.
very drunk.
Who's the guy that would have gotten left off the team if Goudreau was still with us? That's what I was doing
Kyle
when I saw all that
Kyle
stuff.
O'Connor.
I
probably.
was doing the cynical thing of like, is the last guy on the roster sitting there being like, wow, I wouldn't be here.
Damn, bro. That's crazy.
What?
My brain did not go there at all. Why would it?
Mine did, Chris.
I mean, when you're celebrating,
Chris, mine didn't. But now that you said it, now I'm thinking
if
about
there's
it.
a Team
There's
USA
gotta be a
roster
guy.
and they're like bringing a guy in, the last guy on the roster has to be like, oh, I guess I wouldn't be here.
That's just wild.
There was a replacement guy, or no? The guy passed away a while ago, right?
Oh, yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
He was killed.
Yeah.
They're probably
his brother.
An accident.
thinking about Seth Jones more if they're the last guy on the roster, right? They replaced Seth Jones. So maybe the second to last
Yeah.
guy.
Second
on
to
the
last
roster.
guy.
Well, the
That one's
defender, the worst defender's definitely saying, I'm only here because Seth Jones.
Right.
The forward,
That's probably a better conversation to have.
it's just a natural thought.
Yeah, you got to think about it.
Naturally?
Sometimes you think about stuff like that. Don't do this to them, guys.
The thing with Jack Hughes that was
Thank you.
exciting for me personally, as a left-leaning Jew born in Florida who loves sports, I got to see myself in the Olympic gold medal winner, Jack Hughes, because this guy who has been pretty publicly open-minded, was very supportive of Pride Nights in the NHL, Jewish kid, scoring the gold medal winning goal, the golden goal. It was a special moment. Probably the best moment for left-leaning American Jews in sports since Sandy Koufax.
Well, it's funny you say that because it does seem to me that the argument always swings back and forth about, can't you just leave politics out of this and just stick to sports? This is what Mike Ryan has been talking about, obviously, for the last couple of weeks quite a bit and has been in the news for doing it. And it always goes, whichever side is doing it, you don't like it. The rhetoric always becomes that you only like free speech when it's free speech you like. And saccharine or otherwise, that is what should be great. The big takeaway from this should be that Jack Hughes is talking about why he supported the gay pride movement in the NHL a couple of years ago when a lot of guys weren't, that he's a bar mitzvah and all the rest of it. And then the right wants to celebrate the way that the Kachuk brothers want to celebrate MAGA. There is room in this country for both things, right?
Yeah, it's just, it's not a great situation in which you see that moment and you scour the internet to see if, like, their ideology aligns with yours so you can feel better about it. It's just an unfortunate state of where we are, especially when politicians themselves are injecting themselves into these events.
It's the attack on, and I saw I did see some people, sorry, libs, that you hate this. Who are you going at? Who hates this? Who is upset by what just happened there? But it is the unnecessary, unforced attack on some portion of the country as though you're getting us. And I do think that when you push back that it's inappropriate for Kash Patel, which it is in terms of what his position is in the country, it is directly inappropriate. On a piece of paper, you should not be doing that. But it is, you're soft, you're a snowflake, this is what you care about, and all of that, and you feed into that conversation and entrench this is what they're worried about. They're so unpatriotic that they can't even let this guy enjoy his moment.
Part of the joy that I had in finding out some of what Jack Hughes' politics were was how proud he was to be an American representing the United States on that stage. Like, just because you're not caping up for Kash Patel being in the locker room afterward or excited about the words that Donald Trump is sharing with that team and them yucking it up afterwards, like, I love being an American, and to have someone who lines up politically, ideologically with me express that patriotism, it feels like the right sort of hijacked the concept of patriotism, and it was cool to see someone on that stage who happens to line up politically with where I am, at least on a couple of things, by the way. I don't know his full thoughts on everything, but it was nice to see someone who said, hey, I was raised in a household that supports Pride Nights, that thinks, you know, it's great to be an American on that stage.
It kind of speaks to how effectively the right has co-opted being a patriot and the love of the flag, and
It's
how
so true.
And how the left hasn't really done a great job in fighting that punch. They've just allowed for one segment of political beliefs to be more American, to feel more American, relatively unchecked, which is weird because I love this country so much. I love supporting them in international sport. I am willing, more than willing, to look over political leanings and be happy for whoever is representing that banner. You know, within reason. I don't think any of these guys are overtly political, and I was able to enjoy that for what it was, a sporting event in a time where, you know, we all have our mixed feelings about where the country is. It was cool to have one thing that was a rallying cry left and right and alike, and I understand why we're there. I'm part of the reason why we perpetuate it, because it's very difficult for me to separate the two when politicians are directly involved. But it's kind of sad because the Miracle on Ice, geopolitically, there was a bunch going on. We were the good guys. It was a great story, and everybody was aligned with that. And like anything these days, this one's a little bit more complicated.
We haven't talked about the real bad guys in this story. The security people at the arena who let this dude in with no credential? You just gonna let a guy waltz arm cash without? Who the hell cares, man? This is team staff only. You can't just waltz in here. You got to have a credential or something. Hell, you saw the women's team. They sitting in the stands. They got their credentials around their neck. It's not just like, hey, I want a gold medal. I should get in anywhere. Like, no. You still have to have some sort of access and stuff here. And these guys sleep at the job. Just let anybody in. It could have been me with this hat and this jacket. They would have been like, well, he said he was Cash Patel. Who are we to say no?
We should send Amin in the Cash Patel costume to somewhere that Cash is going to be.
11?
And see if anybody can tell the difference.
Well, he said he was going to be at 11 tonight.
Well, there you go. That's right, yeah.
I'll do it for
FBI
that.
jacket's a little on the nose, though.
Well, you know, you just got to let people know. How else?
Wear a USA, like, hockey sweater?
With the FBI hat, though?
I see.
I
What's
need to let
here.
people know that.
It is actually him method acting the Cash Patel bit because he is trying to make going to 11 part of his job.
What? I mean, I just assumed that you guys would want me to do something for the show, and I would sacrifice myself.
Nobody's asked him. He's taking it upon himself to do extra work.
Well, no, they told us that like having a great motor and like initiative.
You should take a private jet there.
Initiative.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word.
I really have no issue with
Me going to 11.
Nick Bosa, except for, I guess I can express some issues with it, but in a vacuum at least. Nick Bosa is welcome to tout whatever political, whatever presidential candidate he wants on Sunday Night Football at the end of the game, as long as I'm allowed to push back with my opinion or other players are allowed to push back with theirs. And that's really the core issue, is that it's sort of a cartoon version of patriotism. It's just not cartoon. It's great to just get behind it unironically. And USA won a big-time sporting event against the team that was considered to be the best in the world, and we won and all of that. It's equally patriotic, though, to raise a fist with a black glove, because you're allowed to do that in the United States or representing the United States, and somehow you're the bad guy if you're doing that, and you're not doing the cartoon version of like USA endlessly. There's that is why the right wins over the left in that argument.
Can I on a serious note, can I just make this distinction? Team wins a gold medal. President calling them on speakerphone and congratulating them, say, hey, we're coming to White House, whatever. That's normal. That happens all the time. The director of the FBI chugging beers in the locker room? I've never seen that. not Republican, not Democrat. I've never seen that.
But the perception is you're a snowflake if that's what you're complaining about. He just loves hockey and he loves the USA and he's enjoying it. And you would do the same if you were in his boots. Is the sort of logic that's applied to this.
So the counter to that isn't about what I would do if I were in the same position. It's position meaning there, available with the team. The counter argument is the same position, which is the job that he has. And the job that you have as a high-ranking person in the U.S. government is you have to comport yourself with some modicum of decorum. Even if they're all doing it, you got to like, ha-ha, good job, guys. Even if you want to. Because it's the same thing. If President Obama, when, 2012 in the London Olympics, they won the gold. If Obama was there in the locker room shaking everybody's hands, okay, Obama was in town. He's good job. If Obama chugs a beer, that's not a good look.
Beyond just that no matter when it happened in any era in the last 250 years, it would be inappropriate. The extra layer of it here, though, is what's specifically happening in this country right now and what you're embracing and who you're embracing. And that kind of connects with the Josh Pate interview of the president, that it's not just a garden variety. This was a great moment for our country. And, if you can't get behind that, what kind of patriot are you? It's you're embracing. You know who you're embracing right now, right. Matthew Tkachuk? If you were taking a picture in January of 1974 with Richard Nixon, you probably didn't want that photograph floating around by the mid-'70s. By 1980, you were probably ashamed of that. And I do wonder, is that going to be a thing, 2 years, 5 years, 20 years from now?
We talked about this on the show. What if Watergate had happened today? Nixon would still be president.
Obviously.
Right? That's the difference between your example and the example of these guys, the Tkachuks doing this, right? Wow, I'm having a day.
The T really gets in the way.
It does. The reality is the idea that they will feel shame at a future date only works if you are operating with the 1970 kind of mores of, oh, yeah, we realize that someone has done something wrong and we all agree that was wrong. Now everything is deny. It'll be 10 years from now, these people can be convicted and sent to prison, and these guys are still going to be like, it was all a vast left-wing conspiracy. And they're not going to come back and say, wow, I was really on one back then.
We'll see. With this president, it's already swung. Remember, after January 6th, Coca-Cola was putting out statements about how that display was un-American and wrong. And he was kind of already cast aside by Fox News. And then it took 2 years, and he found himself back into the conversation. And all of a sudden supporting him wasn't as third rail. But there was a couple of years there where post-January 6th, you wouldn't touch this guy with a 10-foot pole.
But that was all within the climate, I think, of post-2020, which is like this racial reckoning. And so, like, all the brands, because that's all it is. The brands don't care. Coca-Cola doesn't care.
But they're riding the climate. Right. Yeah. So it's going to swing back. So based on that, it inevitably does swing back, right?
I don't.
And then what do you say when it swings back? And not just in the other party is now running the country. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, man, these trials are grim. I mean, potentially it is like, oh, man. Yeah, under his watch, that's what was allowed. That's why those files were never released. He's the one that you definitely want the photographs of you yucking it up and chugging beers with that guy.
I mean,
6 months or 6 years from now.
I'm sure there are some players in that locker room that feel some type of way about it and wish they weren't put in that position.
But you can't say anything about it. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's what
the implication is you have to let Cash Patel in. You have to roll with it, even if you're not comfortable, because being against it causes a scene. And then what you're hoping for to not be your situation, you've just projected onto your teammates, onto the general manager, onto all the staffers that probably really love this.
That's also the difference between what happened at the beginning of the Olympics, which is all of these American Olympians expressing concern about what's happening here and getting shit on by the vice president of the United States as individuals. There is a big difference between standing up in a team environment when, say, 75% even, if we want to be generous toward, you know, the group of guys who wouldn't have been so happy with what's going on there. Say it's 75% of your clubhouse, your locker room is cool with what's going on. It's tough to be the dissenting voice in that situation after you've celebrated, you're with your teammates. You don't want to be that guy, but it is when you listen to, it's not just, hey, the president is calling. Of course the president is going to call. That makes a lot of sense for the president to call after a big moment like that, on a huge stage in a rivalry game for something that hasn't been done since 1980. It's the fact that halfway through, he's cracking jokes about having to invite the women, who probably he doesn't want to invite because he thinks they're too old.
And they had the better tournament. Like, they played exceptionally better than the U.S. men. I mean, they only allowed 2 goals during the entire tournament. And I'm going to have to invite them to the White House, otherwise I get impeached. No,
but
no.
This goes back to the Doc Rivers press conference laugh. It's like this is someone who of power and authority who we've got to be on good terms with. So I'm going to laugh even if the joke isn't funny.
But I'm telling you, man, when it is about wrapping yourself in old glory, and if you push back on that, while it's a completely valid thing to observe, Roy, that's a weird crack to make against the women who are a dynasty in their sport. To make that crack. But if you bring that up, you're going to hear from people about, you can't, why are you such a snowflake, Roy? Why can't you get behind? This is a great moment for the country.
I want to go back to is
the reaction. I'm not saying, I'm living in the world that exists. It's not the one that I
Then I would have to deal with it.
I'm going to surprise you. Like, for me, this one didn't even register on the threshold of like, wow, the politics is really ruining this moment. Maybe it's because the moment was so unprecedented in my lifetime. Maybe it was something that we were chasing for so long. Or maybe it's because I built up a little bit of a callus. Like Kash Patel, it ain't going to really register with me. Now, you know, Chelsea Club World Cup on the stage, Donald Trump being there, presenting the championship and being in team photos, I'm like, this one's making it difficult. I think when you consider the balance of how much politics has been injected into sports, yeah, I wasn't crazy about the looks and of that video, especially the shot that he took at the women's team. But all in all, I'm like, this one, we can survive this one. We can enjoy sports still. And it's a shame that, I understand why a lot of people don't feel that way.
I agree with you. Obviously, I agree with that sentiment. What I'm saying is it going to put a stink on those guys given what may go down in the next year or 3?
I don't think this administration's going to age particularly well.
It's not like Obama was in the locker room yucking it up. Like, I can't believe I was with Obama after what we now know about Obama.
It's part of, the Josh Pate thing that we discussed last week.
Right.
I was just like, as a Josh Pate fan and as a fan of that show, I'm also a little bummed. Like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you want to sit down?
But you know why he's doing it.
And have a...
know why?
I know what his intentions were. I know what he said, what he advertised this interview in terms of like what it was going to be about.
No.
It was going to be an NIL discussion about college football, and the president certainly has opinions there and has power to do something about it.
It's not about that. It's not about that. It's the same reason all those comedy podcasts had him on before the election. It's not about – a lot of people falsely say, oh, these guys are all MAGA. I'm like, they're not. They just want the views. You have the president on. It is a massive boost, regardless of whether people love him or hate him, regardless of whether your fan base loves that president or hates that president. It is a massive thing, and we live in a time where that economy of attention is more important than ever and reaches to a grassroots level. It used to be there were the gatekeepers, and we always talk about gatekeepers in a bad way, like, oh, stop gatekeeping. But the reality is it also insulates the individuals from that impulse of just anything for attention. But now that we've removed the gatekeeping of broadcast television networks and all that stuff, and it's literally any guy with a camera and a microphone, if I have the right connections, I can get the guest on, and now my show can be a thing. At that point, your boy Josh Pate is not thinking, oh, wait, am I sports washing this guy? He's thinking about, oh, my God, this is it.
That's right.
This is how we crack over with Pardon My Take and Le Batard Show and Bill Simmons pod. Like, that's how I break through.
And Football America.
I get it, and I understand why people applied that scrutiny on the front end. I wanted to believe Josh Pate when he said, this is not going to be a political discussion. I'm going to ask him about NIL and college football and how we shape that. I listened to the interview this morning on my way. It was shorter than I thought. Pate actually explained why.
He's the president.
He said things changed with the schedule, and I will say that it wasn't a political discussion. I think Pate, and now I don't know how much was edited, but there was one moment where Trump patted himself on the back about the job that he did with Venezuela, but even for Trump, who meanders and rambles a lot, like he didn't inject a lot of that into the conversation. There also wasn't college football. It was actually really embarrassing because there was one soft toss to the president, like, what would you do about this? And he started rambling about how the Gamecocks are good and the NFL kickoff rule, and it was just bad. Like,
he's really hot on that NFL kickoff rule.
All he talks about.
He was playing his football hits, but then like the very next question is like, what'd you talk about on the golf trip? And he blew up Urban Meyer's spot, who said it was a bipartisan conversation about college football. Instead, like Trump was like, yeah, they were asking me about Iran, which was funny, but there was nothing there in terms of substantial NIL opinion.
Did you think there was going to be?
I thought so after Josh Pate taped it and said that's what the conversation was going to be. I have the full list of 9 questions here. It was more like, hey, how do you hire the people that you hire? What have you learned about being president twice? The Lincoln bedroom story. Tell me about that. So at the end of it, we got an interview that no doubt will raise Josh Pate's profile, a profile that is ascending.
I am curious about that because, like I just said to Roy, you've got to live in the world that exists, not the one you wish were true. And I feel like a lot of the people that I've seen online going at Josh Pate in advance of this were kind of hoping this is gonna damage your career, man.
He also dismissed,
not like Amin just said. Oh no, Josh Pate understood this is gonna enhance my.
I never heard of Josh Pate until this.
Pate also dismissed the critiques that he got from people on that side of the aisle saying, how are you normalizing this person? He dismissed a lot of those criticisms as criticisms generated by bots, which wasn't the greatest look. Also, not how the bots are working lately. But, yeah, Trump got what he wanted too, which was a sports platform, normalizing him and bringing an audience to Josh Pate. And all in all,
you're a snowflake if you complain about that arrangement. That's my point.
Right.
You cannot make noise about that or Kash Patel or otherwise or be attacked by a large percentage of the country as being soft or a snowflake or unpatriotic.
But it didn't achieve anything other than that. It just maybe, and to the skepticism that Amin is applying to it, maybe that was the goal at the end of the day. But it was a bad interview with a rambling, meandering interview subject that actually didn't know anything about college football and didn't have anything to say on the matter. And Josh Pate didn't accomplish what he set out to do in terms of the gambit of we're going to have an NIL discussion, and that's why you take the president on. This guy is very powerful when it comes to reshaping the sport, and you didn't get any of that.
He could have shat on himself for 22 minutes, literally. As long as he said, I got President Trump on, that's all it is about, man.
And by the way, Trump does get something out of that beyond that, like all the broadcasts, the comedy broadcasts from last year, 2 years ago. He did to the people he wants to play to specifically in Georgia, talking about how Gunner's a great QB and he loves Gunner and he loves Nick Saban.
Gunner's a great QB.
And he loves Herb. Well, mission accomplished then. He played the greatest hits there.
Yeah, there's a reason why they picked the varsity in Atlanta, Georgia, playing in that state, which is an important state for the midterms. And there's a reason why they picked Josh Pate's
But the
football
bottom
program.
line, what's most important, though, is that we make sure we separate sports and politics. Do you see this? The last 10 minutes of conversation have fed entirely what the stated thing. You people with your taking a knee during the night. Why can't we? We want an escape, don't you know, from the real world. That's why we watch sports. And the last 10 minutes of this show and a lot of the conversation since that gold medal game is about Kash Patel's presence in the dressing room and so on.
This is a lot of politics on the show today, even for me.
am I to believe that they did this at the varsity on North Ave?
They did.
Believe it.
Let me tell you right now, as a Georgia Tech alum,
I don't think it's the one in North Ave.
Oh,
it
it's
was
not
in
the
Rome. It was in Rome, Georgia. Yeah.
No, that's
Us Atlanta Metro
that's
guys.
probably
yeah.
worse.
It was not on North Ave. It was in Rome.
I went to the varsity at North. Everyone who goes to Georgia Tech as a freshman, you're like, you got to go eat at the varsity, man. That's what we do. You go, you're like, oh my God, I got to go eat at the varsity. Eat at the varsity. And then you realize your bowels are JV because you are going to be shitting yourself for
Not good?
days. It is not good. Sorry
It's bad.
if you work at the varsity, my bad. But no, everyone knows.
It's just close by.
You go once and you never go again. Everyone I went to school with, you go once, you never go again.
Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech.
Hell of an engineer. Hell of
an engineer. Right?
Something, and I drink my whiskey clear. I'm a rambling, gambling, hell of an engineer. Hey,
Bruce Dalrymple, Mark Price,
Oh, yeah.
John Sally, right?
give me a little Lethal Weapon 3 there if you can. Can you? Can you give
I
me a little
can't.
Lethal? No.
Bobby Crimmins.
Kenny Anderson? No. Dennis.
Oh,
Scott?
Kenny Anderson is. What I don't know why we're talking about this in
ahead.
February of 2026. But Kenny Anderson
Seems like your wheelhouse.
is
Football's
still
over.
in the conversation for the best single season I've ever seen a college basketball player have.
Of any player
He was so
or point guard?
he was
That you've
any
seen with
player.
your own eyes? Because Pete Maravich had 3 seasons.
I didn't see Pete Maravich yet.
I didn't know how old you were. I don't know.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, I would've
I'm not
guessed.
81 years young. My goodness, Tony. Pete Maravich. Sheesh.
What was Oscar like at Cincinnati?
Now that was a basketball player. Triple-double every night.
Well, except back then we called them 3-2s because we didn't have words like triple or double.
What are the great college basketball seasons in recent memory? Jeremy just said Kemba.
Kevin Love. Kevin Love that one year. Michael Beasley.
How recent
Michael
is
Beasley
recent?
was
What are the
amazing.
rules?
Oh, yeah.
25
We're
years?
talking about 20
You
years.
know it
Yeah.
if you see it.
Mello?
This century.
Yeah, Melo.
Mello is obviously right at the top.
Ben Simmons had an incredible season. He was just not that good.
Yeah.
Like, their
Iverson?
team wasn't good.
Iverson, yeah. Iverson's sophomore year. Was
Chris
That's not this
Jackson
century.
Oh, that's a good one.
at LSU.
That's a good one.
And he, that's one of those ones that when you look back, it's sort of like when you look at some of those Clemson teams that never got over in football. LSU had Stanley Roberts, Chris Jackson,
Shaquille O'Neal.
and Shaq.
Yep.
How did that? Why was that? Why did they go undefeated? Why didn't they just beat everybody by 98 points every night? It's crazy.
Because Dale Brown was a bag man and not a coach. That's why. Shout out, Coach Brown.
I can think of one more. Sally Antoutage.
It's going to win MVP of the day, of the year.
All right, I thought we were wrapping up there. I'm sorry. I was looking at the clock there. I thought saying Sally Antoutage was a good way to go out.
Nailed it.
Sally